Tonight on First Alert Weather Extra, the heat continues today as those feel-like temperatures soared to the mid-80s. We're on your side with how long these hot temperatures are going to stick around and when you can expect the big fall cool down.
And it's Thursday, so that means updates to the National Drought Monitor. We're tracking those changes and if upcoming rain chances can help relieve the drought.
Plus, we're going to talk about extreme weather events as they happen across the world.
Live on your side, First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And right now we begin with images from Lake Purdy today, just showing you how low those water levels are right now with this ongoing drought situation that we have across the state of Alabama, all across the region. I know it's been a bit more humid, Tania. We have had a few showers, and great to have you back with us here for Weather Extra. Looks like, though, the rain chances are going to stay rather low today and tomorrow.
Yes, so you do get a break from the rain, but rain increases this weekend, and hopefully that will help alleviate some of the drought conditions that we're experiencing.
You know, it was so dry, and now it's a bit more humid. The dew points have come up, so that helps with respect to evaporation rates. So that helps a little bit, but we need some rain.
We really do.
And hopefully here over the next, actually this weekend, it still looks like we're going to see a good chance of rain. Now, this won't be directly related to the hurricane, but let me just show you, first off, I want to go to this map. We have a new record high set at Birmingham today, 86 degrees. Previous record, 85, set in 2022. So we did set a record. You know, it's like summertime out there. We have highs in the 80s. We have a hurricane over the Gulf of Mexico, and this is Hurricane Rafael at this hour, and it's still a Category 2. And I mentioned this earlier in one of the shows that you look at this thing from space, you can see the eye looks even more defined at this point. You don't see a lot of shear with this system, so it's a healthy hurricane and a chance that it may even further intensify. Latest advisory showed maximum winds of 105 miles per hour, but this is nervously close to the Gulf Coast. I mean, this thing's out over the central Gulf, and now it is moving to the west-northwest, and just hold that track, Rafael. We do not want this thing turning in our direction, but it looks like it is going to stay there, moving to the west. And what is going on with this? Well, if you look at the models, you can see there's a lot of models that suggest it will continue moving west, but there's still some outliers that show possibilities on down the road as this weekends. It could go in various directions. One model even suggested it goes into the western Gulf and makes a U-turn and then moves back to the northeast as a much weaker system. That's the good thing. But the Hurricane Center is actually more on board with the possibility of this turning more towards the south and west with time. And the reason for that, if you see these arrows back in here, we've got a high pressure ridge that has built in across our region, and that's what's helping to drive that thing. It's just bumping into the ridge, and it's moving now more towards the west, and that's also the reason why it was so hot around here today and we didn't see as much rain. We've got that protective bubble right across Alabama, and that's keeping this thing off to the south. So here's the official advisory from the National Hurricane Center as of 3 o'clock, and it shows that track to the west there, and then notice it starts to turn the system to the south. So that's what we're seeing. But the bottom line on this, no direct impacts on our area. That's going to stay to the south at least through this weekend. The big story for us, I know we've been talking a lot about the hurricane and some of that tropical moisture maybe helping out with rain chances for the weekend, but it's a front, a cold front that's going to move in, and we'll start to see some showers coming back. Looks like maybe a couple isolated showers tomorrow night, but those weekend rain chances look greatest Saturday morning, then again late Saturday night and into Sunday. But check in for updates. You know, we're fine-tuning the forecast, trying to give you the best advice on when to make those plans for the weekend. There's another cold front on the way next week and could bring some storms by next Thursday, followed by some colder weather. And Tania is going to be showing you some of those temperatures. Wait until you see what's on the way for later next week. More and more data showing that. But it's Thursday. Meteorologist Megan Thomas joins us now with the latest on the drought monitor and if upcoming rain will help us out with those drought conditions.
We are 7 days into the month of November, and rain totals in Birmingham are up to a 0.2 of an inch. Tuscaloosa, barely a trace of rain, along with Anniston. Typically this time of year, and at least for the month of November, we are up to over 4 inches of rain once this month is all said and done. Over the last 5 days, a good trace of rain in almost every county, but that doesn't really add up. In fact, I wanted to take a look back at the 2 drought monitors, the one from this morning that was issued at 9 o'clock and the one from last week. Let's compare the two. If you look at Tuscaloosa County, you went from abnormally dry to moderately dry. And then we also have really Highway 278 North now up to a severe drought in places like Marion and even Winston counties, an extreme drought in Greene and Hale counties. Each of these counties from last week to this week have really amped up at least one category comparatively. Now, the rain is definitely a good thing, and over the last week, again, we've only picked up a good trace up to 2/10 of an inch of rain in spots, and over the next week, we could be picking up a good inch of rain. Now, I don't think this is going to be a drought buster by any means, but every drop of rain we get this month will absolutely help the drought across the area.
And we're taking you back south again to Cuba, where they're still feeling the impacts and the effects there from Hurricane Rafael. The storm knocking out the country's power grid and leaving high voltage towers and power lines down all across that nation. Trees and street signs have also been knocked down, and more than 280,000 people had to be evacuated from the path of the storm.
Back here at home, we first brought you this story yesterday as snow began to fall across Colorado. And now this potentially historic storm is hitting the mountains of New Mexico. I actually got video today from a friend who's in New Mexico of the heavy snow falling down there, and it's kind of pretty. But with this extreme snow, not seen really in November in years. The heaviest totals out of the two states is nearly 35 inches of snow near La Veta Pass in Colorado and 24 inches just north of Edgewood in New Mexico. An emergency blizzard warning is in effect until 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. It's hard to believe. That's crazy. We're the exact opposite here. But drivers across Colorado and New Mexico are also bracing for long and dangerous drives that could potentially last until tomorrow. Fox's Vicente Arenas has more.
Driving rough on I-25 today. CDOT sending out warnings saying commercial motor vehicles would need chains. There were also warnings saying ice and snow was packed onto I-25, making for dangerous driving conditions. RJ Harvey of Castle Rock says his vehicle was slipping and sliding.
Just a little bit, just on this off-road in the back there. I noticed when I got onto Main Road here at Founders, I wasn't slipping as much.
Castle Rock and Douglas County say their plows out in full force today, clearing the roadways. Ken St. John told us plows worked on the street in front of his home in Castle Rock, but he was still out using his snowblower, making sure it didn't pile up too high.
Well, the idea is to get ahead of it.
Keep it from piling up.
Keep it from piling up. Yeah, we had about 7 inches today and get rid of that, and supposed to snow for the rest of the week.
In Monument Hill, our camera captured a big rig with chains struggling to get out of the parking lot. Truck driver Nigel Encinas of Denver says he's not taking any chances, chaining up and being more careful than ever.
Definitely slower, pay a lot more attention. Speed is everything, and the chains definitely are a huge necessity for the deep snow.
Near Larkspur, a tow truck was trying to load a car involved in an accident. CDOT signs are up asking people to be extra careful. Crews doing what they can to try and make the roads as safe as possible, knowing more snow could soon be on the way.
And as the snow continues across the state, the National Weather Service is warning drivers about further travel difficulties. And in California, the mountain fire continuing to rapidly spread throughout Ventura County. Fire officials saying strong winds blowing through the area quickly grew the blaze. As of earlier this afternoon, the fire burning nearly 20,000 acres and is 0% contained. There have been some injuries and multiple structures have been damaged or destroyed. Wildfires have scorched more than 1 million acres throughout California so far this year, according to CAL FIRE. That's much more than 332,000 acres that have been burned by this time last year. Good news out of Asheville, North Carolina, though, as they were able to make major progress in the rebuilding process. Wednesday, the National Park Service restored access to 11 miles of the scenic Blue Ridge Parkway. Love that. This comes after more than a month of work removing damaged trees and debris. Crews moved more than 350,000 cubic feet of storm debris from the narrow and often curvy road. But there are still some stretches of the parkway that remain closed.
One thing to keep in mind is that our priority here has been to clear the road. So what that means is that we have not assessed all of the trails in the park. We're in the process of assessing trails. Use extreme caution. If you're going into the backcountry, getting off of the road, there are still trees there to be aware of.
The opening means that the Asheville Visitor Center can resume year-round operations.
All right, in 30 seconds, we talk about what you can expect for the upcoming weekend and put on a pot of gumbo. We take you to Baton Rouge, big LSU Alabama weekend coming up. We talk with a meteorologist there about the weather for the weekend.
Welcome back in, everyone. Meteorologist Tania Michelle here. As meteorologists, we want to make sure that you are prepared for any type of weather. And this weekend, we have some rain that could dampen your plans just a little bit. The good news is that Saturday will give us some breaks, and it looks like the driest day of the weekend. 30% chance for showers around 7 o'clock. Rain chances decreasing as we approach late Saturday morning and late afternoon. But those rain chances ramp up Saturday night and into Sunday. And speaking of Sunday, let's break down those rain chances, because why not? We will see a good chance for rain early Sunday morning, but a better chance for rain as that front moves through. Increasing rain chances Sunday evening. Rain is likely around 7 p.m., 11 o'clock, and into the early overnight hours of your Monday. So for the weekend, especially on Sunday, pack the umbrella and the rain jacket. We'll continue to give you updates and fine tune those rain chances. So continue to check in with us right here on WBRC. Wes?
All right, Tania, and you're talking about those higher rain chances for us on Sunday. A lot of that wet weather is going to be west of Alabama on Saturday. So for football fans traveling, both Alabama and JSU heading over to Louisiana, those rain chances will be elevated with temperatures in the 70s. So plan for the possibility of some wet weather. I was just looking at some of the new model data down in LSU, and a 60% chance for rain. Maybe not a total washout, but there's a good chance there's going to be some passing showers for that game. UConn at UAB looks mainly dry, 76 degrees, but check in for updates in case we do see an isolated shower back in the forecast. Of course, we've been watching those areas back to the west throughout the week with that hurricane over the Gulf of Mexico as we prepare for the big game this weekend in Baton Rouge. I had a chance to speak to Chief Meteorologist Dr. Steve Caporata. He's with our sister station WAFB as they prepare for the potential for wet weather and Alabama fans. We are all watching this tropical system, Steve, that's out over the Gulf of Mexico. What are your thoughts on this? I know it's a big weekend with the Alabama-LSU game.
You know, Wes, largely the news has been pretty good over the last couple of days, with the trend being farther south and west as we've continued to watch the forecast roll in. You know, all along here in South Louisiana, we've kind of been messaging. We didn't think this was going to be a real big deal in our part of the world, but as it continues to trend farther offshore, farther south and west, the news is better. Now, the issue when it comes to the game on Saturday is that's not the only part of the equation weather-wise. As you probably know, got a little bit of a cold front moving in from the west, and that potentially interacting with a little bit of moisture there from Rafael. Still going to lead, we think, to a chance of showers. So right now I'm telling people here in South Louisiana, plan on roughly a 40% rain chance Saturday. Maybe not a completely dry day. It doesn't look terrible, though, either.
Well, for a lot of Alabama fans visiting that area, I mean, what can we typically expect on a game day around the Baton Rouge area? Some things to check out.
Well, this is going to be the big one, right? This is the day LSU fans mark it on their calendar every year. You know, Alabama certainly had LSU's number quite a bit in recent years, although, as everybody remembers, 2 years ago, that was a heck of a game. I was there at Tiger Stadium. Not that your audience wants to hear it, but that was a fun night as LSU won on the last play of the game a couple of years ago. The main thing is, if you're an Alabama fan, get to campus early. It's going to be a huge crowd. You know, it's always kind of a guesstimate, but there are way more people that show up than actually go into the stadium. You know, there's some estimates on days like this that there might be 150, 160,000 people on campus, and the stadium itself holds 101, 102, whatever it is. So it's the trickiest part is getting to campus and parking. I think that's the big deal. So the message is arrive early and just be ready for a long day. If you try to get there later on, you're going to drive yourself nuts in traffic. And then the other thing is once the game's over, be ready to kind of sit in traffic for a while.
Well, check this out. We all like to splurge on things every now and then. I know I do. But did you know you could also buy fresh air? Yeah, that might be a little too much. A lakeside town in Italy is canning up its fresh air and selling it to tourists looking to capture a piece of Lake Como. The can is being sold for $11 and is only available in local stores. The company selling the air says the cans are perfect for anyone who wants to rediscover the beauty of Lake Como. That reminds me of the movie Baseball. Okay, that's one of them, but also Dr. Seuss has a movie. Well, anyway, still ahead on Weather Extra, we tell you if you need to have that umbrella on standby for the weekend. Plus, we're taking a trip to Weather in the Classroom, where we visit some of our junior weather watchers. We'll be right back.
All right, time for First Alert Weather, a live look from Birmingham. Our tower camera here on Red Mountain showing 77 degrees. Right now, we are dry across the state of Alabama, but we are watching what's happening to the south over the Gulf. There is a powerful hurricane that's churning out there. It's moving to the west direction, and at this point, it's passing to the south of Alabama. A forecast track takes us over into the western Gulf, and this is the Hurricane Center advisory. Shows it's bumped into a ridge that's keeping us mainly dry right right now and very warm, and it shows the system weakening some and then starting to turn to the south. But what's going to happen, there's still a cold front that's going to move in this weekend and bring us a chance for rain. Even though the weekend that stays to the south, we still really don't know exactly where that's going to make a landfall. It could do a U-turn. We need to watch it. I at this point, though, expect it to stay at least south of our area and our region at this time. But tomorrow, if you look at this forecast, you don't see a rain chance, but there is a 20% chance for tomorrow evening. 80 degrees for a high for tomorrow. And this weekend, Saturday, as Tania talked about, there's a chance Saturday morning we could see some wet weather out there. Notice early in the day, some scattered showers coming back there for the first part of the day. We'll probably catch some breaks into the afternoon, but then late Saturday night, as the cold front I talked about starts to move our way, that's going to bring a better chance for rain starting over West Alabama late Saturday night and then spreading east during the day on Sunday. That's why we went higher with those rain chances. A look at some of the global data. This is the European model, and it shows a pretty good chance for some showers there. Maybe some breaks during the day Sunday, but there's going to be a period in there where we have a good chance of rain, and this is showing even late Sunday night. Maybe a couple thunderstorms in here with that front as it moves south. We should get most of this out of here just in time for Veterans Day. So as far as Monday goes right now, keeping that forecast, just a 30% chance for morning showers. And then we break into a couple of dry days Tuesday, and actually starting out dry Wednesday. There's going to be some showers coming back, a chance for rain into Wednesday night, and especially on Thursday, late next week. We're tracking another front. Next Thursday, it's going to bring another good chance. See this? Rain and storms. Look at that coverage. So a good chance that we're still seeing in some of the forecast data for next week. And after that, looks like a nice drop in temperatures on the way. So that is what we're going to be talking about right now as we go to meteorologist Tania Michelle. And Tania, looks like tomorrow still very warm out there, but we're going to be talking some cooler weather next week.
Oh yeah, Wes, that's one of the big stories, is that these temperatures could drop and drop pretty quickly. So let's take you beyond the 7-day. We are giving you a first alert for fall returning late next week. Some of our models are trending pretty chilly out there. We could see some 40s and some 30s in North Alabama Friday. This is November. I was about to say August. This is November the 15th, right around 6 a.m. for your next Friday. And it's going to be pretty chilly, even that cold air extending all the way down to Alabama's coast. So those beach days might be coming to an end very, very soon. Before we talk more about our weather in the classroom, I want to show you this one as well, because this is pretty different. Our precipitation outlook November 13th through the 17th shows most states across the U.S. seeing above normal or above average precip. But as we look here across the southeast, well, we could be seeing below normal or below average, meaning we could be a little bit drier, which is not a good sign with us still dealing with drought, but we're trending a lot drier this time next week. Temperature outlook, above average temperatures for most of the U.S., except maybe the West Coast, but the Southeast, including us here across central Alabama, looking at above average temperatures. But we are now taking you to weather in the classroom. I had the amazing opportunity to visit Charles F. Hart Elementary. Shout out to Mrs. Buford. We love you, and I love all the amazing kids that showed up and showed out to learn about weather. They became official junior weather watchers, and we had such a great time learning about severe weather safety, the different type of clouds, what needs to be in their emergency kits when they're in a severe storm situation. We learned so much, and they enjoyed learning also how the green screen works, and I just love the kids, guys. It was so much fun. Thank you so much for inviting me out, and if you want one of our meteorologists here at WBRC to visit your school, be sure to visit Weather in the Classroom, our website, and send us a request, and we'd love to come out and teach you some more. But we'll be right back with a final check of your weather right here. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back.
All right, I know what you're thinking. What is going on out here? We're talking about 80-degree temperatures, feeling like summertime, but it does look like next week we are going to see some cooler weather rolling in late next week. We have more data showing that.
Yeah, and I'm actually excited about that because, hey, Wes, we can bring out the trench coats again, our boots. I haven't been able to do that lately.
That's fine. I need to bring out my boots, right?
Yes, we want to see your boots, right?
All right, hey, tomorrow, well, I had the 10-day pulled up, but how about the sunrise sunset time for tomorrow? Sunset 4:49. We'll get you set for Friday, though, and the weekend, and we're tracking Hurricane Rafael tonight, starting at 9.
Yes, and we'll be back here again through 10, so we'll see you then. Have a good evening.